Heirloom or not, heirloom starter culture. Historically, yogurt has been consumed for time immemorial, and most people believe that it was spontaneously discovered when people transported milk in animal skin bags. Due to the primitive technology back then, some good bacteria were naturally left in the bag, allowing the milk inside to accidentally ferment in the summer heat. The fermentation extended the abilities to preserve milk, which become gradually considered action. In order to start a new fermentation, people back in the day just mixed the mother culture, the yogurt from the previous batch, and fermented it again. This was the main way to reculture yogurt, as just working with a mother culture, ready yogurt, to start a new batch, and in the next few millennia came the main method of transporting and distributing yogurt. Later, some pottery vessels have also been used. However, this limited the geographical extent, and yogurt was able to be transported limited distances after the point of making, as after some days or weeks of traveling, especially in hot weather, the mother culture can get too sour and consequently become unable to reculture. This was the main case, and until the 1950s and 60s when someone came up with the idea that there must be a better way to preserve the bacteria. With the new technology of lyophilization, the bacteria could be grown and concentrated in the milk and then freeze-dried and hibernated in a sugar medium so it can survive for months, years, and decades, allowing it to be transported to every corner of the world. Then it is enough just to be added to milk and the fermentation start again, since a new fresh mother culture is created during the fermentation process. The transportation outside of the native for the yogurt bacteria environment, however, made them vulnerable to any kind of other invasive airborne and milk bacteria. So it turns out that after some time and recultivation, this bacteria gradually contaminates the mother culture and reduces the concentration of good yogurt bacteria, which become weaker and even more vulnerable when they are outside their native environment. Remember, the yogurt cultures become weak not because they are heirloom, but because they have been contaminated with other bacteria when they are outside their native environment. Any yogurt starter can be recultured to the moment it is contaminated and the concentration of yogurt bacteria is reduced. For example, the Lactobacillus bulgaricus can be recultured unlimited times in Bulgaria only. However, it becomes an easy victim to the other bacteria when outside native environment. It will still be an heirloom culture as it has ability to reculture, but the numbers of batches made depend on the sanitation level of your environment and milk used. Heirloom or not heirloom? The food industry created many kinds of so-called yogurts even when they are not. For example, almond yogurt or coconut yogurt. These products frequently contain additives, thickeners, and are basically cooked in a way similar to creme brulee, as some starter cultures are added afterwards to satisfy legislation and call it yogurt. As the starter cultures are hibernating and they cannot start fermentation in such a mix, they do not bring any health benefits. Consequently, these yogurts cannot be recultured for further generations. The food industry also created powder yogurts, which are frequently sold in 100 to 200 gram bag and contain a mix of dry milk, thickeners, flavors, and some hibernating bacteria, some of which can be added to any milk, juice, drink, or sometimes water. Then the dry milk and thickeners will be able to thicken the mixture as the starter cultures begin a restricted fermentation that is not allowed to override the already carefully considered flavors. The end product is something that looks and tastes like flavored yogurt. However, due to the limited fermentation and additives, the concentration of the bacteria is still way low in order to trigger a new fermentation or make further generations with it. We also have starter cultures for yogurt with maltodextrin and other additives, and the sachet is usually between 5 to 10 grams. This is the only starter culture and thickener, and it is designed to thicken the milk before fermentation is completed, where a majority of bacteria are out of hibernation and fully activated. It can, however, trigger fermentation in consequent batches, but usually a few more times only as the concentration of the bacteria could be limited due to the shorter incubation times. Remember, the milk will thicken and by then you should stop making it, but it does not mean that the fermentation is complete, so the yogurt cannot reach its full potency. Finally, we have a freeze-dried starter, and the content is anywhere from 1 to 5 grams, but no more. This starter contains yogurt bacteria and sugar as a carrier on which the bacteria lives during hibernation. These bacteria fully rely on the authentic fermentation and is fully dependent on the milk used, incubation times, and sanitation of the milk. The pro here is that this starter makes real yogurt. The cons are that it requires more patience and experience to pick up the right milk and sanitize and control the fermentation. However, the mother culture is fully developed, and the best thing is that the second and third batch would be better, and it would require significantly less time for incubation, delivering a real yogurt anywhere in the world. If you sanitize the milk, containers, and utensils, you will be making more than 5 batches. Some people can use the same sachet for a year or even more. Now, as you know the basics, do you know how to choose the best starter to deliver a real yogurt? For more info and specific instructions, step-by-step tutorials, please refer to our website, blog, forum, watch the other YouTube videos, or download the yogurt app. www.yogurtathome.com, forum.yogurtathome.com, www.yogurtathome.com/blog.